Hello, Unexcel family. Welcome to another YouTube video. Today, we're going to talk about how can you switch from a visitor visa to a work permit if you're visiting Canada. You heard me correctly. You now have the opportunity, if you are visiting Canada, you can switch from a visitor visa to a work permit. However, you must meet the eligibility criteria. Let's get into it. Now, a Canadian visitor visa allows you to enter Canada. It also gives you temporary legal status once you're in Canada, giving you the flexibility to travel to different provinces within Canada. When you come to Canada at the port of entry, your length of stay is determined by the visa officer. If your passport is stamped with a specific date, you must leave Canada by that date. If your passport is not stamped, then you can assume that you have up to 6 months to remain in Canada. Now, IRCC introduced a public policy on August 24th, 2020, during the pandemic, and this policy allows certain temporary residents to apply for an employer specific work permit from within Canada. This policy should have expired in 2023, but they have now extended that policy until 2025. So, what that policy has allowed, it has allowed visitors within Canada to switch to a work permit. Let's talk about eligibility criteria. So, in order to be eligible, one, you must have a valid visitor status in Canada at the time of applying for your work permit. Two, you must have a valid job offer. This job offer must be supported by an LMIA or an LMIA exempt offer of employment, and we'll talk about LMIA further in this video. With the LMIA job offer, it ensures that there is consistency with the hiring. You need to ensure that your application is submitted before the application deadline, which is February 28, 2025. In addition to that, you must meet the admissibility criteria for staying in Canada. So when it comes on to security checks, if there are any health concerns or health conditions that must be met, you have to ensure that you meet the admissibility criteria. Let's talk about LMIA. You might have heard the term LMIA before. LMIA stands for Labor Market Impact Assessment, and this is very critical to the Canadian immigration process. A labor market impact assessment is a document issued by the Employment and Social Development Canada, which assesses the impact of hiring a foreign worker to the assessing the impact on the Canadian labor market. Now, what happens if a Canadian employer wants to hire a foreign worker? They have to submit an application to the ESDC indicating one, that they have tried to fill this role using a Canadian citizen or permanent resident, but they have been unsuccessful, hence, they are seeking approval to hire a foreign national. Once they get approved, they will be issued a job letter, LMIA approval letter, and this LMIA approval letter, the prospective worker will use that along with other supporting documents to apply for their work permit. Now, a lot of persons will probably ask, okay, so I'm in Canada, I want to switch from my visa to a work permit, but how do I get the job? There are many job sites available in Canada, but the one that I will recommend here is the Canada Job Bank. The URL is listed here. It's www.jobbank.gc.ca. Now, when you go on that website, you need to type in search for jobs from Canadian employers who want to recruit temporary foreign workers. Once you do this search, all the jobs that have LMIA approved or are LMIA pending will show up, and then you'll go through the list to see if there's any potential jobs that you can apply for. Once you have applied, and if you're successful in receiving a job offer letter, you will use this job offer letter along with your LMIA approved letter to apply for your work permit. With your approved LMIA job letter in hand, you are ready to apply. What's the process for applying for a work permit? We will talk about that in another upcoming video, because outside of the job offer letter and the LMIA approved letter, there are some other documents that you will need to submit with your application in order to get your work permit. So once again, thank you so much for watching. We ask that you like, subscribe, hit the notification button so that you can be informed when our next video drops. Share with your friends, comment below, and let us know what you'd like us to discuss in upcoming videos. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.